Welcome to Hat-Trick City on WXCI 91.7, Danbury's only all-hockey radio show.
I know that some in our audience don't know the finer points of hockey.
You want me to dummy you again?
Hat-tricks, baby! Woo-hoo!
Folks, welcome back to Hat-Trick City. I'm your host, DJ Patty Cake, as always joined here in the studio by DJ Uncle Matt. And, you know, last weekend was the half return of Danbury hockey being back in the building. Matt and I were both there for all the games this weekend, NAHL and NA3. For me, it felt great being back in the building, working a game. The last one I had really worked was, game 5 of the championship final. So, it was a different vibe, obviously, because it's a refreshing, new season, getting used to some new faces in the building and, just being in the mindset of we're starting fresh, going at it. And, so starting off with Friday, we worked the NAHL home opener against the New Jersey Titans. Unfortunately, we lost that one 7-6 in OT. I will say it was a well-fought game. There was no points where it was kind of like dead space. It may have been a slow start, but overall, both teams played very well. We pretty much rallied back from being down 5-1 at one point. Matt, what was your take on being there this weekend?
I got to say I was really impressed with how both the NAHL and the NA3HL guys approached opening weekend. It was probably one of the most competitive games. I guess that was Saturday night.
Friday was the OT, and then Saturday was another loss, but it was a close one. It was 2-1, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great kind of effort to watch from the scorer's box where Pat and I were, and just to be involved in the action was great. Just like Pat said, it was a pretty long layoff this summer. It felt like it lasted a little longer than it normally does when hockey season ends and then begins again. But yeah, great to see some old faces come out. People that would normally be at pro games came out to check out the NAHL, and some of the NA3HL fans even. So it was a really great, soft opening to Danbury hockey this weekend, and I'm looking forward to being in the box again with Pat. It's been great. I kind of told the story to Nick Garofalo, who basically runs the rink here in Danbury, is that I one of my first jobs ever was being a scorekeeper for the Dad's All-Star Basketball League, which was like adult basketball league in Queens back in the day. And it was pretty crazy. Like, a lot of these guys had played high school basketball. Some of them played high school basketball in the Catholic League and played in small CYO gyms. And I kept a scorebook for a couple of years there. And I also did various things like that through the year. So it was really great to do it for hockey and to get back out there in the booth with you and just kind of look around and take the job in. So I look forward to doing more games with you, Pat. Yeah,
it's really a pleasure to kind of have Hat-Trick City in the box, firsthand. And honestly, we already got that connection where the work just flows like that. We already developed a system for how we're doing stats and how we're doing my end of things on game day. But it's I can't wait for more, and I'm glad you were able to come on and work some games. And we actually have more games this weekend, that being with the NA3. They'll be playing against the NA3 New Jersey Titans. So that'll be a Friday and Saturday 2-game set, both set for 7 p.m. Puck drops on both days. From what I remember with last season, with this Titans team, they were another one that played hard. However, I know we were able to get a few wins out of them last year. There were few tough losses with them, but overall, I think this year has been a real refresh on kind of overall rosters and some of the teams that we're familiar with being hard, which you'll hear later in this episode when we talk with the NA3 captain Brody Trew. So definitely going to be a good set of games. It's going to be fresh. I could feel that it's going to be a fresh set of bodies for the most part, going against each other, and it's not going to be overall same rosters, but same mindset overall. So if you guys want to calm down, those are free, and we actually wanted to apologize for this error.
Big
last
apology
week.
due to everybody.
Yeah, we had said last week on our episode with Stefan and Nickerson that the NA games were free to attend under what we had been told, or at least what we knew, that they were free, but then it turned out they were charging a $12 admission. So we want to apologize to anyone who got kind of hit with that if they came expecting a free game, which last season they were all free, didn't charge admission, and something changed and just weren't told.
Yeah, something changed, but I do think there's an entertainment value out there, and hopefully as the season goes on, there'll be a little more fan engagement and kind of installations at the game that'll spice things up a little bit. But yeah, I still think it's worth it to come out and check out the NAHL games. It's a great brand of hockey. It really is. Even with there's another kind of level of junior hockey above the NAHL, but even with that said, there's still you're looking at many future Division I hockey players and some potential NHL draft picks there too. So, you would enjoy it. We hope to see you at some of those games.
So stay tuned for our amazing interview with Brody Trew.
This is Daniel Amesbury, your Ice Wars champion and Danbury Hat Tricks tough guy. You're listening to Hat Trick City Radio on 91.7 WXCI Danbury.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week on Hat Trick City, we got one of Danbury's top celebrities, the man, the face of Trew Crew, Brody Trew. Brody, how are we doing today?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing today?
I think we're doing well. Matt, I know he just came in from a bit of a traffic jam.
A little bit of a jam getting in here today. Got into a bit of a pickle, but here we are. I don't even know what episode Hat Trick City this is.
This is 30.
Wow. So we definitely got somebody who's honestly a big presence for Danbury hockey on social media, and I think definitely one of the probably the best ways to get familiar with what like the NA3 hat tricks are doing is Brody Trew. So it's just really great to have you here.
Appreciate it.
It was really fun to watch you play in the booth with Pat this weekend. From that angle, you're out there making plays and
trying the best I can,
getting scrappy. Tell me when, obviously you're from Bethel. Is that where you grew up?
Yeah.
Did you
Born
go to
and
Bethel
raised,
High?
Yeah.
So when actually did you start implementing kind of, if you don't know, Brody Trew is one of our junior hockey players here with the NA3 Danbury Hat Tricks, and he's also just a really awesome content creator, primarily on social media. I guess I'm sure you have a YouTube page too. So a little bit of the YouTube and a little bit, I guess, of Instagram and TikTok.
So I would say YouTube is like my main thing, but
Really?
then Instagram and TikTok both feed into that.
So tell me, when did you, I mean, obviously it's the thing to do, right, is to mess around with production and stuff, but when did you get into that aspect of filming and stuff?
I started, I didn't go to Bethel High School my senior year. I did an online academy for the League Hockey Academy, and that was in Northford, Connecticut. So we were kind of like, did our thing, like we did our schoolwork online, but, the best we could. And then I kind of started, because that was COVID year, so a lot of things were shut down. I kind of had this idea, just like no one's really capturing my day-to-day. Like no one sees because I was playing midget hockey at that point. So like no one saw what midget hockey was like behind the scenes. And one of my huge inspirations was, I don't know if you guys know Pat Shea, but he He had a YouTube channel.
Yes, I know. He
So
is.
he was
He's
at
not as active, is he?
no, he went to University of Maine D1, and he had a YouTube channel, and I kind of had inspiration from that. So I was like, well, if he's doing that for college, let me do it for the younger levels.
Wow.
And that's kind of how we started. First video, if you watch, is honestly pretty brutal to watch. It's like half the video is me driving in my car, like a cinematic of me going an hour, because it was an hour drive from Bethel to Northford.
Yeah.
So it's like half the video is me driving in my car, and I got a lot of bad feedback from that.
Did
for
you play
sure.
with Logan Nickerson up
I
there?
did. I played with him for 4 years, I believe.
Who, the other crossover guys between there and here, or no?
Ivan. I don't want to butcher his last name. Starts with a K.
Brody.
Yes, he was on my last year of U18 hockey, and then he went to the NALT team, and I got put on the NA3 team. So
what was it like growing up for you? Where did you play kind of your, like, very little hockey?
So I played Danbury,
Wow.
Western Junior Colonials, and then I worked it was tier 3, so it was just having fun at that point. So then the next level for me was tier 2, and I had that Ridgefield Lions, and we went to nationals my first year, and that was kind of a big jump for me because I was playing tier 3 my whole life. And then tier 2, I got scouted by the Lee Hockey Academy, which was tier 1, and I played U15 to U18,
Wow.
tier 1, and then juniors.
Yeah, it's been a pretty kind of long journey for you. I mean, you played a lot of games every season that you played.
Yep.
Since you've been active. Tell us a little bit about what was it that led you to here? Were you always looking to be in the NA3? Was it just kind of a coincidental thing? Would you have gone to another team had you not picked Danbury?
Well, the thing with me was that, yeah, I could have gone to probably a better junior league, but the whole thing for me at that point was I wanted content. Like, I think that was, I already knew in my mind that I wasn't going to the NHL, obviously. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to find my own avenue here, and I was like, you know what, this is a lower level. I'm going to play a lot of games, get a lot of points, get content, and people are not going to be like, you suck, you're playing fourth line minutes. So it's kind of like I'm playing big time minutes, but I'm also shooting content and making content. So it was kind of like the NA3 is like not the best league, but you know what, I'm playing a lot of games, and I thought that was, and plus it's 10 minutes from my house, so that's also a bonus.
Was that kind of, I mean, it was really your first season with the hat tricks last year.
Yeah.
So, like, was that something that you discussed with the coaches going in, that this was kind of your thing?
Yeah, so that's kind of how I kind of, it was honestly between them and the Rough Riders EHL team, so it was both local. I didn't want to go away from home. I would feel like I would get homesick. so it was either of those two. So, but I decided Danbury just because Bryce Wallace, he was on the team before, and he was my best friend growing up, and he said good things about it. So I was like, you know what? Plus the facility is gorgeous. So I was like, the Rough Riders in Norwalk is kind of like a terrible place to play. It's very low light. Bad for content, guys. So Danbury was like the perfect choice for me, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds like you were kind of leading with the influencer kind of content in mind, which is really interesting. I think it's interesting to see it at this level because obviously, kind of I've been writing a book about Danbury hockey for a while now, and getting closer to the end of that. But you know, there's something about these lower levels of sports, especially, you know, with the NA3 guys. I mean, a lot of these guys are they're really looking for that small college opportunity or perhaps even just a club opportunity. What do you feel about you? Would you be just kind of happy expiring your eligibility and maybe continuing with production? Like, what's your goal?
So I have an idea in my head, but I'm not really going to share it. I'm going to save it for content purposes, but it's going to be special. I'm just going to say that. So I'm going to keep the viewers, because that's my number one question right now is like, what's your next chapter in terms of content, also hockey, but I'm just going to let them keep guessing, and then I'll surprise them with the biggest surprise they've ever known. So
you guys fought hard this weekend on Sunday in the game. Why don't you just take us through what the NA3 team is kind of dealing with right at this second as you get your skates kind of set?
Yeah, so right now well, not right now. We actually got a lot of guys. We got 3 guys this week,
Awesome.
but last week we honestly had 2 lines. So I was out there every other shift. Awful. That, I mean, I couldn't breathe when I got back to the bench, and then Voidy's already saying, "All right, Trew, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, I just got off." But that was we were kind of going to that game knowing that we were going to be down. So, like, we knew the outcome wasn't going to be necessarily great, but we weren't expecting to be that close.
Yeah.
Because Northeast just pounded us last year, and we were like, oh, my God, first game, we have 2 lines. Like, how bad can this go? But I think we battled hard for the amount of guys we had.
What do you think about just the level of play? Like, you were able to step up in the NAHL games here and there. I guess you got 1 or 2 games last season. How can you explain to the listeners who don't get out to the NA3 games what the level of play is and what the players in general are focused on?
So I would say, like, between the NAL and the NA3 is pretty drastic difference, I would say. But the top 2 lines of each NA3 team, I would say, are pretty good. But once you get farther and farther down, it's kind of like high school hockey players and, like, kind of kids that are, like, not necessarily that great, but, like, they still compete hard. So I would say the top 2 lines of each team are, like, pretty good caliber players. But the one thing I actually did notice was a lot of the NA3 guys are pretty much a lot shorter than the NAL guys. So it's almost like all the short guys that couldn't make the NAL are in the NA3. Even, like, I've seen some disgusting, like, short kids, but, like, we're all kind of stuck in the same league trying to grind it out.
It did seem like the New Jersey Titans, who came in last week, it did seem like they had some smaller, skilled, hard-going guys, you know. Do you think that size is still a big reason why players just kind of don't get to advance to those higher levels?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of honestly depends on the coach and what they're looking for. I mean, obviously a 6'6". I mean, Dennis Rodchenko last year was, you can see him from a mile away. He was like an absolute tree, and then you had me, a little bush on the side. So, like, from a scouting standpoint, like, he stands out way more than the short kids. But, like, I feel like the short kids that work hard, it's almost like you have to, like, really find your opportunities being shorter in the game, because, like, you have your tall kids and they get every opportunity ever, but being shorter, like, you really have to fight for every single opportunity you're given.
No, I believe it. I mean, it's and a lot of the short guys or smaller guys in hockey are some of the best players. I mean, best skaters.
I mean, Marty St. Louis was my hero growing up, so, like,
I believe it.
He was an absolute monster. I mean, his legs were, I don't know if you've seen videos, but they're ginormous, his legs.
Let me ask you, when did your account, per se, kind of start to gain a little traction, and what's been your strategy with it?
So I started on YouTube. I think it's my 3-year anniversary coming up. I think I started October, but I started a TikTok account, I would say 6 months after my YouTube account. I started posting, like, hockey sellies and bunch of just random videos, and my first video was the hockey sellies. Not my first, but my first viral video was hockey sellies. So I basically said, hockey sellies, part 1. And then everyone did their own sellie with music in the background, and that got 1 million views. And that was, not 1 million, 100,000 views. And that was, like, the biggest deal ever. Like, all the kids on my team were like, dude, that's insane. Like, it was just unreal. And then we just started to build after that. And then the next huge viral video was the most random idea. We just had kids coming off the bus in suits with, like, music, and, like, it was all right at first, but then all of a sudden it got, like, millions of views, and It's all, like girls that age, like, oh my God, number 2 is, like, so hot, like, just, like, but we kept doing that. We did, like, 4 videos, and I got, I want to say, because I got 100,000 followers on TikTok, so then I was like, okay, people aren't following me for me, they're following me for the team that I have. So then I kind of shifted back to focusing on Trew Crew, which, believe it or not, it's actually not what I wanted for the name. Trew Crew meant, like, Trew Crew, like you guys, like the fans. But now people just call me Trew Crew, just me. Like, I'm Trew Crew. So now I'm like multiple people.
Byproduct side effect that you weren't anticipating.
So now
there.
I'm the Trew crew. So that was cool. But anyway, then YouTube, I got my first 100,000 view. It was a GoPro video. People love the GoPro stuff, by the way. Like, it's unreal. Like, that it got 100,000 views, and then after that, it kind of just snowballed. Posting consistently helps as well.
How many times a week do you post, or what is it, like every week?
Before this year, I was posting 2 times a week, but now I'm trying 3 to 4 times. I'm really trying to go hard this year, just to see, because how I want to go as hard as I can right now.
Has there, like, are you on the YouTube levels? Are you at the monetized stage yet?
Yeah, I got monetized 2 years ago, so that's it helps.
What, outside of I guess money that YouTube gives you because of the monetization, are you like in the sponsorship of like other products and stuff?
So I would say I'd offer like a 30-second, like you could add like a 30-second sponsorship in one of my videos. So like I would normally do a normal video, and then like I would skip to like all right, and here's our sponsor, and then it'd be like a 30-second segment of the company that wants to sponsor my video. So that's how I kind of get my sponsorships in there.
And I'm sure you got that Easton stick for free.
Yeah, I actually got that one because I thought it was so cool. Believe it or not, I posted that video, and apparently it's not the actual stick I was receiving. It's actually a skin. So that kind of was disappointing.
Come on.
Yeah,
the truth comes out. Social
literally
media
like
truth.
10 minutes after I post, I get like 3 or 4 comments like, this actually isn't the stick, and I was like, come on. Like, I just spent like hours editing this video. And
where did you get the stick?
So Bauer released or posted on Instagram. It was like, we're releasing the Easton Synergy, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be a sick video if I make this. So I ordered it. Came 3 days later. Then I was actually gonna record it like 2 weeks from now, but then my camera guy was like, I asked, are you available this week to shoot video? And he's like, I can actually do it today. So I was like, you know what, let's do it. Filmed the video. The next day I posted it, so it was kind of like, I just wanted to get it out there.
So for people who need context, Bauer, the hockey gear company, equipment, they released like a classic Easton stick. Is it the Easton?
Easton Synergy, the first one-piece stick that they created.
And it's like a yellow.
Yeah, it's like Marty St. Louis actually used that stick for years and years. He actually used a yellow stick pretty much his entire career.
I'm actually impressed. I'm a weird big fan of any type of thing that's dead stock. Like I obviously love an old hat.
Yeah.
30 years ago that still has the stickers on it and all that stuff. Last season in the Fed, Ian White had a really crispy pair of Easton gloves. The ones that they're like the Bauer Nexus now.
Yeah.
They're like the same.
Like they're kind of blocky, kind of. Yeah.
But they were crispy, man. They're like brand new, and I'm like, man, like where would he have gotten those? Like I don't think they re-released those yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, it's not even. I'm just Sideline Swap does that kind of stuff, so you can search up pretty much anything.
Yeah,
related.
I doubt like a guy. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'd like to think I'm wrong, but maybe a guy who played 500 games in the NHL is not searching Sideline Swap.
He probably has some guys.
Yeah, he's probably got like some equipment managers like, hey,
I know a
Whitey,
guy from.
Listen, I got these Eastons here, but they're brand new. What? They went out of business? I don't know. You know, but that's awesome. I love old gear like that. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I have an old like one of those old Reebok helmets.
Yeah.
It's like the one that Sid wore. And I wear it to like, you know, stick and puck and stuff like that. But now it's getting old, you know. Now it's like it feels like it's 15. It's probably 12 years old, you know what I'm saying? So it's just I love hockey gear like that. You have anything else that's cool? Or
I mean, I was just going to add on to that topic. I don't know if you guys know, but Patrick Kane's been using the same stick since his start of his career. He just gets it wrapped. It's the same exact, like he gets like the Bauer skin on it, but it's still the old stick he was using. I forget what it was. It's like an old Vapor, I believe.
Wow. No, yeah, I've heard stuff like that. I was trying to think who, like Matt Cullen at the end of his career, like had to, like he didn't want to give up the old Easton helmet, so they made him one without any labels on it or something like that. There's a lot of guys like I love the old gear and stuff. But let me ask you something. What do you think is kind of like the coolest thing that came out of putting all this time into the social media?
Like Like, what do you mean, like Easton?
No, I mean like the coolest thing for you that came out of like building up your social media.
Oh, yeah,
Did you
yeah,
get
for
yourself
sure.
in any situation? You're like,
Yeah,
wow, how the hell did I get here?
I mean, obviously, like I get sticks sent to me for free just to review videos. I'm not paid, so I can keep it as honest as possible. But like getting sticks in general, as a little kid, you're like, oh my god, that's so cool. Because like growing up, I would never think I would just be getting free sticks like that, and it's actually pretty crazy just to be able to get. Like I would say 2 months ago, I got a package from Bauer. It was both the new Hyperlite and Hyperlite skates, totally free from Bauer, and like that was just like, oh my god, like I'm actually doing something right now.
That's
I'm
amazing.
getting free gear from Bauer. Like that's a pretty big deal.
And they're pretty much the most expensive stuff at this point too.
It's like It's also like thank God I don't have to spend like $2,000 on a new pair of skates.
Do you get free stuff from Trew as well?
Yeah.
What do you like best?
I love the Trew sticks, but the durability just does not last.
Really?
And like I said that in the video, but like I love them for the 2 weeks I have them for before they break. But Bauer stuff, I've always been a huge Bauer guy growing up. Don't love the CCM stuff. Their sticks are pretty good, but it's all right.
Yeah, huh?
Just not a big CCM fan.
I really love the Bauer sticks and their gloves.
Yeah.
You know, the CCMs. I like my CCM skates.
I will say CCM does tailor towards a smaller guy.
Really?
Their senior smalls are a lot smaller than Bauer's, and I've noticed that. When I've been reviewing gear, like it's way smaller.
Wow.
It's crazy. The gloves, even gloves, like you'd order.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah,
a 13-inch glove. I had this in the video, but it was I got a Sherwood and a CCM in my bag, and I put them both on, and the cuff lined up, not even close to the other one. It was ridiculous. So I would say Sherwood's the smallest 13-inch, but Bauer's like it almost feels like 2 sizes bigger. It's like crazy.
The size of gear will just drive you crazy, especially with skates and gloves.
Yeah.
And I definitely just try. Believe it or not, I was using a senior small pair of Warrior pants, and I just got a little too thick for them recently. Not like crazy or anything, but I went up. I wanted to try I really needed new pants. The pads were just kind of worn down and flat now, you know, and so the guys at Pro Stock Hockey hooked me up.
Nice.
With a pair of pants, and it was a CCM pair of the Devil's Christmas color pants.
So was that that was Pro Stock, right?
Yeah.
Those normally are pretty good.
And I'll tell you something, man. The CCM small was like an extra small. You know what I mean?
Yes. I got pants from them. They must have just when did you get those?
A month ago.
Yeah, recently. I'm still using the same CCM pants as I got 3 years ago, but they sent me the FT6 Pro, adult small. Put them on. I kid you not, it went like way past like up to my thigh, and I was like, I cannot wear this. Like it looked like I had the smallest pants ever. It's crazy.
It really is crazy, man. But it's one of the things about being a hockey person is like, especially if you play in like the lowest, most pathetic beer league like I do, you know, like dude, you're constantly want something new out there, constantly want to try a new stick after a while.
Sometimes new isn't better though. I will say that.
That's true, 100%. I can tell you that for sure. Sometimes new is. I've definitely and it's one of the reasons why something like Sideline Swap exists. Like, you may get something new and find that it sucks, or you hate it, or it's sharp, or something that irritates you.
I found that recently with the Bauer helmets is they're starting to like form to like this alien looking bicycle helmet. It's like, what are we doing? Like I have the original React, which I don't even know how many years ago, but I constantly go on Sideline Swap to look for it because it's becoming rare now. It's past its whatever like its state of being like you're not even really supposed to use it anymore because it's expired. So it's like, but I love that original React because the React helmets they are making right now look hideous. I would never wear it.
What's crazy is, I mean, obviously people listening to this, I'm sure some of them play hockey themselves and some have kids and they'll be talking about the prices of sticks, but like even beyond that, dude, like some of these vintage helmets used on eBay, like like the style helmet that Chris Chelios wore. Like somebody will want like $250 for this old stinky helmet. Like I don't get it
Because they're very rare.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I guess
Rare classic.
I guess somebody would, if they would take that helmet and put new insides in it, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they just like the style and they'll put new padding on the inside. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm sure the listeners are now bored of us going through our hockey bags for an hour.
All right, what next?
I have no idea. What's your favorite Danbury hockey logo?
Like you mean like teams or just the Hat Tricks logo? Like Trashers, Whalers.
Yeah, like
I would say the Trashers.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you old enough to have gone to a Trashers game and stuff?
Nope.
No. Was your family into hockey?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my stepdad went.
I think I've seen is either your dad or your stepdad at some of the games and stuff like that. Is that how you first got into it?
Yeah. I think I started when I was 6, so I'm not doing the math. I'm terrible at math, but around there.
How old are you now?
I'm at 2003, so.
Okay. Yeah, so you're Patty's age.
Sweet.
You guys could be roommates,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, hypothetically.
That'd be fun. Like he could be your next camera guy.
Maybe.
He totally looks like a camera guy, doesn't he? Like, hey, dude. That's another thing. I saw a guy who works with you down at the rink. Is that your equipment, and he just comes and goes, or?
Yeah, that's all my equipment. So I have 2 businesses. I have Trew, which is my YouTube and social media presence, and then I have Trew Media, which I started, I think, last year, and I just do freelance videography and photography. So all that equipment is mine. So I have 2 camera guys now.
That's
So
awesome.
I have one guy takes photos and video, and the other guy just takes primary video for YouTube and stuff.
That's really cool.
I started getting more into the photography side because for some reason photos always do 10 times better than reels on Instagram.
Really?
And it's like, I would say like I get like 5,000 likes on Instagram like post like a photo, and then on reels I get only like 1.5K.
Wow. And these algorithms, they're just like impossible to figure out.
I mean, it does make sense. Instagram did start as a photography
thing,
thing,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
When Instagram started, you couldn't even DM people. Did you know that? Like, how many marriages would have been saved if it stood that way?
Yeah, but how many relationships couldn't have started?
That's true. You know,
Oh.
see the younger, wiser
See that?
approach.
Half
to
glass
it.
full here.
I remember when I was just about your guys' age, dating myself here a little bit. I was going to SUNY Purchase, and we had to have a petition, like passed around by hand, that we presented to the administration so that we could get signed up with Facebook, because that's how Facebook did it. In the original days, it was supposed to be all college kids. If you watch the movie, it goes into it. Like, it was supposed to be all college kids. The purpose of Facebook was to get every college kid in America on this platform. And that's how they started. And they actually started, like, I honestly don't quite understand why the petition process was supposed to be needed or something, but I like literally remember kids thinking, yeah, it's social media, let's get our campus signed up to it. And I mean, yeah, like, you definitely...
Would you say that's the first social media platform there was?
No, there was something, right? Well, obviously there was MySpace,
Yeah.
which was huge, but right before MySpace, you know what it is to... Another thing is, the internet is so vast.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, there was just so much going on. But you could consider anything social media or whatever. But right before MySpace, there was probably something before this. But I remember it was a lot of like Scenester kids that were on this thing called Friendster, and that basically predated MySpace. And it was basically the same thing. I mean, I think you could DM people, but I think it was a little more anonymous. Like, I don't remember and then there was stuff like Live Journal, Dead Journal. There was like all these things. Like, live journaling was a really big thing. Like in the early 2000s. Like, people would. It was just like how people are doing podcasts and Instagram accounts themed after one thing. It's the same thing. People were using Live Journal to a lot of people were using it to like post like fiction and poetry and stuff like that. But then there were other people like, oh, I have this live journal dedicated to, healthy eating, or I have this live journal dedicated to the punk rock scene of Connecticut, or whatever the heck it was. Probably other things. But it's just amazing to see where it's come to, because there are so many businesses. I work at the university here, and I kind of tell them this all the time. No matter what your business is, like, social media is like the number one. No matter what we say, what we do, it's the number one marketplace for information these days.
Yeah.
So you're putting out information about hockey gear, information about that. There's accounts out there. They're putting out information about food, and if you're in that place where you want to put out information about your university, you have to be aggressive on social media.
Yeah.
You got to be aggressive. You have a car dealership. Well, the number one place where people see stuff all the time, it's on social media. It's through newsletters, on email. Some people are still looking at websites, but they're not. That's a whole other thing. You content creators have embraced something that we in the magazine business, to be honest, in the early 2000s, like we couldn't quickly enough make the transition to digital. A lot of good brands died that way. But what you guys have figured out is that people almost want custom content, and they want things that are really relatable and visible.
Yeah. That's the one thing, is it has to be relatable.
And and I think that's the thing, is that it's one of the biggest ways that that piece of content itself is made relatable, is that it's on a platform that everybody's on. So people can say, hey, I saw it. They could be in opposite sides of the world and see this thing.
Well, the thing with the relatability is you see something that, oh my God, that totally is this person, you send it, and then they're like, oh my God, wait, no, that's that person. It just keeps getting sent, and that's how you kind of build your
right, like, when they're like, oh, the type of person that does something, right?
Yeah.
And I get you. Yeah, it's like there's an example of a video out there, and and like even like today, for example, the video from Spittin' Chicklets that just came out with John Morasti talking about the Danbury Trashers. Like, I'm on a beer league hockey team, so that means I'm in a chat with 15 guys on a beer league hockey team, and that video came around like 3 times in 24 hours, just because the content is cycling and people have their eyes on it. And I really think that what's going to happen is people are now so much more empowered than they ever were before to start a business. I just met with a guy yesterday who, I'm not going to get into his whole story, but he had a drug offense, and he served some time behind it. And he, he's gone through all the necessary steps. He's been out of jail a while, and he started a coffee company. And because of the power of the internet, he's already got it up and running. He had a music kind of a business a while back. He's using some of those contacts right away. He was able to email those same people, show them this new business, get a few orders going. So it's just the power of the internet. What do you see as your long-term use for your accounts? Like, do you want to get like going to these all-star games and stuff like that?
I mean, I would say that I want to kind of obviously expand. I'm not necessarily sure how yet, but that's kind of how it goes. You don't know, and then one idea leads to another, and you just end up doing something you didn't even know you were going to do. So, I mean, we're just going to see where this goes for me, but it's nice to have 2 businesses. If one fails, you have the other one to lean on, so that's kind of a positive, I guess, for that.
With Trew Media, that's been coming out more and more. At least what I've seen with, you did that Amesbury video. How did that come about? Was that your idea, or was that
It was honestly, so I would say he reached out to me because he knew I did freelance stuff. He's like, can you just I see you do mic'd up video for your own stuff. So he was like, do you want to do it for me? And I was like, okay. I came for one game, and he got in a fight. Well, first of all, Ames wears the oldest shoulder pads ever, has the string. It's
I have that same pair.
Oh my, I'm trying to mic this guy up, and I can't even attach it to anything. So, behind the scenes, I would literally We taped the mic on, wrapped it around in string 5 or 7 times, taped it with clear tape. Then I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna get in a fight. So then I taped it a couple more times. But the problem is when you tape it, the mic gets covered up by the tape,
Right.
so you can't hear anything. So then we had to do it all over again, start over. So then he finally gets out there, you can hear him, and then he gets in a fight, and I'm like holding my breath because it's like a $500 mic.
Oh,
So
man.
it's like he's
Was it a lav mic?
no, it's
Wireless?
DJI mic, so it's wireless, which is perfect because I've seen those things, and it's like you have to attach it under. It's just uncomfortable. This thing's the smallest. I use it from. It's so small. It's very small, so it's easy to kind of clip on, and you're on your way. It doesn't really break up or anything. But anyway, he gets in a fight, pulls some random guy who I don't even think wanted a fight, beats him up with one hand because his other hand's broken, and then after the game, I was kind of like, you know what? Maybe I should actually make this a YouTube video. Post it, 300,000 views, one of my most viewed videos, and then we kind of just went from there. So that's kind of how the Amesbury Trew Crew, Trew Media thing kind of kickstarted.
So I guess that was the one against Justin Schmidt.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
Are there any plans to do more of those this season?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I'm just going to keep it at that.
That's great. You know what I mean? It's like we've said it before. It's, you know, Pat and I, something that kind of passed my Twitter stream recently is, you know, of this team, we're fans, and, you know, this show isn't, I just want to be clear because there are other people that do shows about the Federal Hockey League. This show isn't journalism. This is a fan show. Like, we have our fans on, we have our players on, we have our fans on at Danbury. I mean, ultimately, that's what it is. And it's great to see Brody kind of creating more content around Danbury hockey. It really only helps. And I'll be honest with you, I think it helps the image of the city. You know, it's a hockey town. We don't have constant coverage of what goes on in the city, and anything more to show, I think, what goes on, especially with the NA3 guys and the juniors. You know, it's a positive thing. Kids look at social media. I'm sure there's some, you know, we do have a lot of fans around the rink. You know what was great to see today was the captain of WestCon.
Oh, Mason.
Yeah, he was skating with Kyle Gonzalez and, I guess Kuzi was down there. It looks like Frankie was down there. I'm sure Ames was down there. So it's great to see that kind of Danbury hockey impacting on different levels.
Yeah.
You know, now we have a kid who plays at WestCon involved skating with those guys. It's all good. It's all positive thing. And like I said, from where we are here in the city, there's nobody covering this team. There's nobody at all telling the fans what's going on. So to have, to be honest, you know, I don't want to take a lot of credit here at all. Pat put so much work into this show. We've done 30 episodes of this show. There's absolutely no compensation for it at all. As a matter of fact, we probably lose money on the deal all the time. But, you know, and then you have a kid like Brody. I mean, you could probably just keep what you're doing totally separate if you wanted to and just kind of focus on making money with it. But you don't, and I think it probably benefits a lot of people. So me and Pat will be working the games this weekend.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, you'll be playing New Jersey. Kind of what have you guys been working on to kind of recoup from Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, after the game, Nosey actually was like, you guys did great. Obviously, he didn't say it in those exact words because I don't know if you guys know Nosey, but he's kind of a very interesting. But he was like, you guys did good. Like, don't even put your head down like this team. This team should have destroyed you guys, but you guys held your own, like that kind of thing. So we went into the next week practice with like a pretty good vibe, I would say. Like we went in like with a positive attitude, like a lot of calling for pucks, like just positive energy, and that was kind of just stay positive. Like your team's like, we're still building our team right now, which kind of sucks, but you know what? We're just going to do the best that what we can with the team we have. So we're going into tomorrow's game with positive energy and just hope that it all works out, I guess.
And, you know, I also wanted to congratulate you on earning the C for this season.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
Definitely think it's well-deserved, you know, given your presence. And I imagine in the locker room you definitely can bring that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
that, we kind of see here today, even to, that group. And then, also just to kind of go back a little bit, you played in that inner, what is it? What's the word?
Midgets.
Inner
the
squad scrimmage.
Inner
There you go.
squad.
Yeah, so
Pro and junior.
how was that? And you also made a video about it.
It was fast. That's going from NA3 to that. It was pretty drastic. I mean, last year I got caught up to the null and it was the exact same thing. Like, it's just like, oh my god, this is way different. But it was pretty good. I mean, the Fed guys were there. Amesbury was on my line. Like, it couldn't get better than that. But yeah, it was fun. It was got more fans than normal at an NA3 game. So that was great.
It's a pretty it's a pretty competitive type of a thing. You know what I mean? I think if you really love hockey and you take it as for what it is, there's some D3 guys in there and some guys who will probably go to pretty good ACHA teams and stuff like that. I think it's an entertaining brand of hockey. These kids play hard. I gotta be honest. Every year that it kind of passes by, or every year that we have the juniors here, I just kind of get more into it and more used to it. Especially last season when UConn opened up their new rink and Sacred Heart opened up their new rink, and obviously Quinnipiac won the
I was
national
actually there for Sacred Heart filming their home opener.
Wow, yeah, I was there too. Oh, no, I wasn't. I lied. I was at UConn's home opener that night. But I just think that as more people in Connecticut come in tune with college hockey, especially after Quinnipiac winning the national championship and then these new rinks opened up, I think that there's going to be a little more interest in the NAHL and the NA3 teams, especially in Danbury, because it's a great place to see a game.
It's also, you're in the area, so
Right.
more coaches and people are just in that area to watch you. So it's like a win-win.
There were a ton of coaches
Yeah.
Friday night at the NA game. Yeah, there was a bunch. I took a picture and sent it to my brother, who was a college basketball coach. They all sit in one area. So, like I said, I think that's the thing. And even on the local level, like something that Billy McCreary has talked about, there's a little something now to aspire to for these younger kids. They see what's beyond kind of the youth hockey, and they see what's beyond the high school hockey and stuff like that. So I really do think it's a great brand of hockey. The NAHL has been great. I really enjoyed. What was the fun? I was just one thing that NA3HL needs to improve is that website. What was the score of that game on Sunday that I was working the stats for?
I believe it was
5-3.
5-3.
5-3, but it was a
5-3
hard.
because I was actually editing today.
It was a hard fought game, and I think you guys were down 5-1 at one point.
Yeah, I mean, one of the goals, the goalie passed to our team, and we just kind of shot an empty net. But
Hey.
other than that, like, it was a pretty close game
Yeah,
from start to finish.
it was pretty hard fought, and I was really impressed by what you guys did, kind of shorthanded. It was a good game. Like I said, there's guys, Eddie Nitro, Tazi, that love to watch hockey. You guys have to get down to the NA3HL games. The fans in Danbury that really love to see hockey, they miss it if the pro team's out of town. NA3 and NAHL, it's really entertaining, so you should check it out.
For sure. Brody, best of luck this weekend. We'll be there watching and cheering you on.
I appreciate you having me on.